Welcome to the 4th season of the Olympus Anywhere Classroom, Episode 3. Today, Olympus trailblazer Austin Latimer is going to show us some powerful tips to help you stir a little visual art into your videos and photos. In fact, this video was shot on the OMD.
One of my favorite things to look for when I'm out on the street filming and photographing is really textures and depths of angles and lines. And so I like looking at small things, like kind of the little details that people usually walk by, and really kind of figuring out a way to show that on film that makes it look interesting. One of the features in the EM5 Mark II, you can just hop back and forth between shooting photos and shooting videos. So with art filters, you can pretty much go anywhere and make anything interesting. You know, I just popped on the cross-process filter and get to really play around with it, allowing for this kind of eerie, kind of semi-desaturated of the reds, and really pops the greens and the yellows. So these arches are a good opportunity to use one of the new features in the EM5 Mark II, which is the keystone compensation. When you're shooting architecture, you sometimes have to use a lot of wide-angle lenses to be able to see everything that you need to. When you're using a wide-angle lens, vertical and horizontal lines end up being a little warped. And so what the keystone compensation allows you to do is it allows you to readjust those warped lines to a more natural look in camera. So here's a great opportunity to capture a lot of color. There's all these different fruit on the corner of the street here. And so I'm choosing to use the pop art filter to be able to really show the extra saturation, and it really just boosts the colors of all these fruit. So I was walking around and I just came across some street performers, and it was a great opportunity to use a new feature called Art Filter Fade, which allows me to transition from one art filter into another one without having to cut the video. I chose to use the sepia filter, the dramatic tone filter, and the pinhole effect because I wanted to kind of simulate the old vintage kind of look. One way you can create a really interesting effect in your video very simply is by using the partial color effect. That basically allows you to isolate one color in the scene and neutralize all the other ones around it. It creates a really dynamic, interesting look. One of my favorite art filters is the diorama art filter, and that's basically an effect that simulates a tilt-shift time-lapse. It makes everything look small and people moving through the frame really quickly. So don't be afraid to go experiment with your art filters and all the other effects this camera has. So go out there and make some art.
To learn more about what you can do with the Olympus OMD series, visit getolympus.com/anywhere classroom.